Cars found himself surrounded on all four flanks. Two Hamon users, an Amazonian, and a mere human. Cars would look around as he prepared to pick off his targets. JoJo and Caesar, while both injured and still reeling from their recent bouts, they still weren't foes to be taken lightly. The Amazonian could match him in strength, but the human, yes, he had to cut down the numbers. Cars would spin around as he set his sights upon Smokey, but Smokey was prepared. As he threw down a smoke grenade, the battlefield began to darken even worser under the light of the moon. For Cars, he wasn't worried about this. Even if the human tried to hide himself in the smoke and cover, he could still see him through his body heat. But then, something peculiar. As he looked around in the smoke, he could only see 3 signatures. He couldn't find the human. Huh, what's the matter? You thinking you're gonna find me in the dark? Yeah, not likely. My suits are made for a special type of thermal camouflage. You won't be poking me out in the crowd. But you might want to keep a close eye on my friends there. They're not too happy with you right now. What the? Ugh! Diana would deliver a devastating right hook across Cars' face. The moment that he was given a shot, Caesar would use his bubble cutter technique as he began to shoot off streams of light towards Cars, who would have to use his body, contorting it to its absolute max to evade being hit, only to have a devastating attack of Hamon Overdrive once he had reconstituted himself straight from JoJo. Smokey, meanwhile, would perform his usage of the smoke gun, now retooled and designed to its highest quality, courtesy of Speedwagon. The gun had 3 functions. There was sleeping gas, freezing gas, and the sunflower burning gas. On top of that, he also sported a Colt M1911 pistol, especially made for those in the military, and also a gift from Speedwagon. Cars found himself being picked off on all fronts, the Hamon users continuing their relentless assault, Diana channeling the powers of the wrist of Atlas, bound by her own immense strength and speed, and Smokey continuing to be an annoyance with his gadgets and tools. Damn them. I had the upper hand. What's the matter? It's not so fun when the odds are stacked against you now, is it? Coming from someone who I thought was a warrior of honor. There is no honor in war, JoJo would yell. The assault would continue on Cars as well as the army of the undead. Stroheim leading his soldiers with their ultraviolet lights mounted onto their shoulders, all while Speedwagon would help recover Lisa, watching on at the battle that ensued. Speedwagon. Don't go dying on us yet, Lisa. There's still a lot more life for you to live. You and JoJo and everyone else alike. But how? JoJo made a call to us. We were already preparing, but we had to speed things up. We only had about 24 hours to get across the world. Thankfully, it was just enough time, though I could have spared for a couple more minutes or two. But it seemed like the Pillar Men have become impatient, and now it looks like they've already made their final assault. The stone. Don't worry about it. JoJo and the others are going to keep that Pillar Man Cars from getting his hands on the stone. We have nothing to fear now. We just have to leave it in their hands. As the battle would continue, Cars found himself taking more and more damage alike. Smokey was like an annoying fly that he couldn't seem to swat. Diana, the ever-growing force of a wall that he couldn't seem to scale. And then, the ires of his hate. Flying high above him in the sky, Caesar, dressed in the uniform of that human that Wamu had killed. And then there was JoJo, the one who had been chosen by Naboo, the one who had been waging war against the Pillar Men for thousands upon thousands of years. It finally reached a breaking point. Just when it seemed like Kars could have gained the advantage, his legs were taken from under him. In a final assault, multiple bubble cutters would be shot towards his back. Kars went yelling out in desperation as Diana would take the lead. She clasped both her hands together and began to focus, her eyes fixed upon Kars. "Stay back. I'm going to hold him in place and crush him." "And just how do you plan on doing that?" JoJo would ask. "It's time for me to use my true power. These are the bands of Atlas," Diana would say, showing the bandlets on both of her wrists. "They were a gift after I defeated the heretic Titan and banished him back to his position of holding the world on his shoulders." "A gift?" "Yes. Atlas is a Titan and a god of many things. With these bands, my strength is increased 100-fold than even what I was born with. But not just that. He is also the god of barriers." "Barriers?" "That's right. If I stand completely still and focus all of my power, I can create barriers at will. It is my sacred technique, barriers of heaven." As she clasped her hands, making sure to stand completely still and not move, not even an inch, the bands would begin to glow around her wrist. And suddenly, Kars felt a strong force, as if gravity had now zeroed in on him and him alone. His body went careening to the ground, and he could not lift himself, like a newborn baby that was just beginning to crawl on the floor and couldn't even raise its head. What is this? This feeling? I can't move. That's right, Kars. This is my power. Barrier of heaven. With it, even you are subject to me. A barrier. Amazing, Caesar would say. If we had used something like that sooner. There's no time, Diana would say. I must stay completely still for this technique. In order to create a barrier this powerful, I have to trade using my strength. If I move even 1 inch, the barrier will be lost. Very well, JoJo said. Then it's up to us to finish the job. Smokey, fire the freezing gas at full power. We're going to keep them in place, just as an added bit of insurance. You got it. All right, Kars, time to put you on ice. Kars would move his hand to his satchel. He had to grab it. He had to. This was his only chance to survive. As the smoke of the freezing gas would hit him, still being held down by Diana's barrier of heaven, both Caesar and JoJo would hover above. It's time for us to finish this, Caesar. We'll charge up a Nova Grande special. Nova Grande. Do you think you can muster up enough of your Hamon? I can, but trying to condense that much energy. Yes, it will put a strain on our bodies. But this is our chance to finish this once and for all. Right. Both Hamon users held up their hands as small balls of light would begin to form. They grew big in size, almost as if they were going to expand until they became as big as moons. But just as quickly as the great balls of light had grown, they began to shrink. The condensed pressure of energy collapsing on itself, the light growing brighter as the balls grew smaller. They continued to condense it, feeling the heat beginning to form, a pressure like that turns coal into diamonds. And now as both of them held them up, Speedwagon and Lisa would watch, believing that now the final crescendo was about to commence. Hurry up and finish him off, JoJo! Caesar! This is what you have been training for. Your Hamon practice, your mastery. It has all come to this moment. Is it possible they'll actually be able to destroy cars? No. No! I hope you've prepared yourself, Kaz, because now you will feel divine justice. Now, Caesar! Double Nova Grande! The immense explosion that would occur next, seemingly vaporizing the once Pillarman cars, as Stroheim and the other soldiers would watch on. Ha! See? I told you! On this day, the Pillarman would learn the true meaning of human ingenuity. And not just that, but to see that he died in such a pathetic state. He went on and on about how he would achieve perfection. But now look what has happened. He flew too close to the sun. He played the role of Icarus. And now his dreams, his ambitions, they have fallen into the sea of death. He will never be able to awaken his God, nor will he be one. Do you hear me? Do you hear me, Kaz? I hope you can. Now all of your sins have fallen upon you, because you thought, you believed that you... What? As the smoke would begin to clear from the attack, there was someone still standing. A figure, and on his face, a stone mask, and the glowing red stone of Asia. No! But when did he... Wait, if he has that mask, Speedwagon would say, the light from the Nova Grande is like that of a sun, and he had two of them. You don't mean... This isn't good, Smokey would say. What's going on? Diana, put the barrier up! What? Just do it! Right. Barrier of heaven! I don't think so. The moment she attempted her barrier, she would be blasted back as the mask would begin to fall. And there standing before them, Cars, now reborn as the ultimate creature. There was now a glow to him. He had changed. In his eyes, there were no fear, but rather a sense of liberation. Yes, this is it. What have we done? Caesar would say. I don't know if I have any more strength left. Now's not the time to chicken out, Caesar, JoJo would say. We have him surrounded. Come in! We will finish this once and for all! No, Stroheim, don't! JoJo would yell. Stroheim and his men began to activate the UV lights. As they got closer and closer, Cars would look to them as he raised his hand, as it transformed into a squirrel. What? We're supposed to be scared of a woodland creature? Oh yes, Mr. Squirrel, I'm so terrified! The squirrel turned monstrous, burrowing itself through Stroheim and then out the other end of his mechanical body. The squirrel would begin to rip through the soldiers, tearing them apart, as everyone would begin to retreat, Cars fixing his eyes upon JoJo. For centuries, I have had to live in fear. Carr said as the sun began to rise behind him. There was only one thing in this life, one thing that drove me underground. And now I turn my back to it, for it has no power upon me. JoJo, Naboo, you told me that when the sun rose, this war would be over. And now, yet again, I have made you fools and liars. I told you you were not going to succeed. I told you what would happen, and my words have come to pass. For now I have become both Alpha and Omega. I have become the ultimate life form. I am now superior to any Titan or God or Campione or anyone who dares to challenge me. The earth is now my domain. He ripped the amulet of Anubis off of his neck and crushed it. The soldiers beginning to die around him, the army of the undead burning away to ash and dust. What do we do? Smokey would say. We... Calm down, Smokey. We're not done yet. Huh? Did you forget who I am? I didn't come all this way just to die here. I have one plan. One plan that can bring him down for sure. What plan? Diana would say. Yes, JoJo. No. He's gonna... No, I know what he's about to do. He's about to do the... You... JoJo, don't you dare! Smokey, everyone, listen to me. Yes, JoJo. What do we do? It's simple. Your legs still work, right? Yes, Stroheim would say. Good. We turn in a 180-degree angle, and then we run like hell! JoJo! Smokey would yell as everyone went running into the distance. Cars looked around amused. You really can't make this up. Ah, yes. I thought I'd live to see it all. But never in my wildest dreams would I imagine that the great Naboo would be running with his tail between his legs. Okay. Time to kill him now. JoJo and Smokey went running towards the shoreline as Diana and Caesar would follow. JoJo, I can't believe you tried this again. Again, Diana would say. Yeah, he did this in New York after he threw a girl off of a bridge. You did what? Caesar would say. Oh, come on, Smokey. Now's not the time to make me look like a bad guy. And yeah, while we're at it, why are all of you following me? Well, JoJo, Diana said as she called out to him. For one, we're all in this together. And two, we're all at the end of our ropes. What? Can't you cast another barrier or something? Yeah, I'd have to stand completely still to do it. And do you really think he's going to give me the chance? Oh yeah, and on top of that, we've been fighting for almost 12 hours. We're tired. Well, if you've got enough time to complain, then you've got enough time to pick up those feet, Missy. I'll promise you, I have no problem leaving a woman in the dust. JoJo, you chauvinistic... I swear by the gods of Themyscira. Now's not the time, guys. Look, there's a plane, Smokey would say. Everyone hop in. He's chasing after us. He's turned his wings, Robert Speedwagon would say. He has control over all organic life, He has become the ultimate being. We have now just dropped on the food chain, Lisa said. He can transform himself into whatever he pleases, whatever he desires. Nothing is out of his grasp. He has mastery over life and death. He has become something. He's become. Don't say it, Stroheim would say. He has become a god. No, something worse. The four would arrive to a German plane that had touched down. Hopping inside of it, JoJo would take the cockpit, along with Caesar as his co-pilot, as the two of them would begin flying off into the sky, all while Cars chased after with a strong fury, his arms having transformed into that of bird wings, but even then, he still had the disadvantage. The metal contraption was faster, and Smokey would attempt to fire back, emptying out the payload shooting towards him. Though unfortunately, even if he had the disadvantage in speed and power, he still reigned supreme. Using his feathers, he began to transform their very matter into something that was hard as steel, but could still block and defend against the enclave of bullets, and to be used as projectiles. They went crashing into the plane's hull, causing it to almost crash into the waters, but thankfully, they were able to right the ship and bring them back up. What are we gonna do? Right now, we have the advantage, JoJo would say. This plane can fly at almost 200 miles an hour. It's faster than any mere bird, and that's all he can copy. He might be able to fly fast, but he can't fly faster than this. So we have a chance. Not for long, Caesar would say. Look at the fuel gauge. We only have about 2 more hours worth of flight. So we've only got a 2-hour advantage? And then what? Smokey would say. If we don't find somewhere to land, even if we do, it won't matter. It'll buy us some time, JoJo said. I just need time to think. Smokey, you take the wheel. I need to have a conversation. Smokey would do just so as JoJo crossed his legs and began to concentrate. The eyes of the helmet of fate beginning to glow as JoJo would enter into an emergency conversation with Naboo. Naboo, be straight with me. How screwed are we right now? Your body has gone past its limits. Any more Hamon that you use in yourself, and you will destroy yourself. Currently speaking, you can't make any more Hamon. I can't? No. You have exhausted all of the Hamon you have without any rest. The only reason you can still use any Hamon is because you draw it from my power, and your body can only handle so much of it. Is there any chance at all that we'll be able to? No. At this point, Cars has the advantage. Just use my body. I don't care if you... I told you I won't. Why? In case you've forgotten, we've pretty much gone past the point of no return. There's no point in holding on to sentiment. There's no reason to... That's not the point, JoJo. Even if I did use your body, if I pushed past your limits, if I truly used it with no regard, there's still no chance that I could win. I would just be throwing your life away. Then use Caesar! JoJo, you are our best choice. Even if I tried to use Caesar, I would just be taking another life. Diana? She cannot use Hamon. Even if I tried to use it as a crash course. Okay, so you're gonna shoot down every option that I have. Then what do? We have to come up with something. We have to figure out a way to destroy him utterly, completely, so that he can't have a chance to regenerate. Looking onto a map, the gang would find that not too far off in the distance there was a volcano. If they could crash him into it somehow, perhaps that was the key. Magma. He won't be able to survive that, JoJo would say. On the radio, Speedwagon had gotten in contact with them, trying to dissuade them from this plan of madness. You kids have done enough, Speedwagon would say. You can't just keep giving your life for the world over and over again. Please, just let me find a way to... It's all right, Speedwagon, JoJo would say. We got involved in this knowing what the consequences would be. If we can give humanity a chance. But JoJo, what about Granny Irina? Smokey, you're just as much a part of our family. Diana, Caesar. It's all right, Speedwagon, Caesar said. I don't think that I'm throwing away my life here. I am giving it for a cause that I believe in. I loved him, Diana said. If this means that I can be reunited with him in the next life, then I gladly welcome death. You brave souls. The plane would begin to be eaten through as the feathers that had been shot by cars would transform into piranhas, beginning the plane's descent into the volcano, as now cars found themselves at the front end having caught up. But thankfully, the plane would begin crashing right into cars who now saw what his enemies were trying to do. So, this is your plan, JoJo. You think you're going to be able to take me out in some weird suicide deal? Don't make me laugh. I can just transform and escape. That's no problem for me. In the end, all of your sacrifices will be for nothing. The last great Hamon users will be gone. I'll turn back and I'll make sure I finish off Lisa, and then the rest of the world. Now, both WAMU and AC/DC will be avenged. And it will be over for you heroes. Immediately, a mechanical arm would shoot out of nowhere, grabbing around Cars' throat, stopping him in his tracks. On the wing of the plane, there stood... It's Stroheim, Smokey said. Ha ha! Yes! My friends from across the sea. And unfortunately for you, Pillar Man, their deaths will not come from the likes of you. You caught up with us? I had to make sure I wasn't seen, for I knew I'd be the ace in the hole. He'd never see me coming. You? What's that look on your face, Pillar Man? What? How could you ever doubt the might of Sherman science? And now, you will taste death once and for all in a fiery magma grave. Now, you lot, jump out of that plane unless you want to join him and his ancestors. Diana would grab hold of everyone as they all jumped out in unison, Stroheim following suit as the plane went crashing into the magma depths of the volcano below. Diana, using her immense strength, would help everyone as they landed, and sadly, they piled on her in the process. Oh, my back, Smokey said. My arm, Caesar said. My butt. Get off of me! Diana kicked everyone away. Even though I am mostly machine, Stroheim said, it still hurts. Besides the point, at least he's finally gone. Yes, there's no way that he's gonna get out of that. Well, how's that, cuz? Huh? Now you are finally dead. If we can just rest here for a little bit, guys, I think I can recharge my Hamon enough. Perhaps we can fly ourselves out of here and then we can... Immediately, JoJo looked down and saw that his left arm at the forearm had been cut, his arm flying off of him. Caesar, seeing what happened, before even having a chance to react, both of his arms were taken off in the process as well. Diana would have her eye slashed, causing her to stumble back in pain. And as for Smokey, he found himself losing a left leg in the process as he fell to the ground. All four heroes mortally wounded. My eye! JoJo! Smokey would yell. Smokey! How? How are you still? How am I still alive? JoJo, I thought I told you. I'm perfection. You bastard! Yes. That's what I like to hear. My leg! You tried to block it with your Hamon. But in case you've forgotten, the power of the sun now flows through me. I too can use your Hamon technique, and I am far superior to you. His leg, it's burning. Ugh. Now, where do I start? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which of you heroes will be the first to go? Amazonian, human, Hamon, and fool. Who will feel death at my tool? And now he picks a time to use poetry, Stroheim said. What can we do? Yes, I think I'll start with you. He turned to Smokey, who was still reeling from the pain of losing his leg at the kneecap. He knew that he'd have to go through some pain, but damn! Stay back! He raised his smoke gun to fire, but it had no effect. Cars waved off the smoke with ease. Stay back! Stay! I don't want to die! Get away from him! Leave him alone, Cars! It's me you want! It's me! JoJo, I never saw you like this when you were killing off my comrades. You killed Wamu, AC/DC, and not once did you shed a tear. They were honorable warriors! You're nothing but a piece of trash! If you hurt him, I swear, You'll what? What, JoJo? What are you gonna do? Tell me! You can't even stand. You can't fight. You can't summon any Hamon. You have nothing. Nothing at all. I have endured your menial pleas and your insults for the last time. I am going to kill all of your friends one by one. I am going to make you watch. I am going to make you beg. I will make you pray to whatever miserable God you believe in. And when I am done, when I have broken you, when I reduce your spirit to ash, then and only then do you have my permission to die. Naboo, please, I don't care. Just let me take him down. Naboo, please! JoJo, take the stone. Put it on your forehead. Just do it! Smokey would try to raise himself on a rock as he aimed his gun to fire. You know it's not gonna work. I'd rather die trying. I'm not a coward. Yes, that's right. You are a man. Show me how much of a man you are. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. Empty out the entire magazine if you will. Give me everything. You shouldn't die with any regrets. Suddenly, a light would begin to glow behind them. As cars turned to see, multiple shielding lights would form around his comrades and allies. As the rock both he and cars were standing on would be carved out, the pressure of the volcano shooting them into the sky. He turned to see a standing Dr. Fate, the red stone of Asia glowing on his forehead, imbued in the helmet. So this is what you're truly capable of, Nabu? There's no going back, JoJo. It doesn't matter. I'm prepared to see this through to the end. So, another last trick, JoJo? Carr said. But immediately he found himself being woven around by bands of light, wrapping around him like a cocoon, binding him in place, restricting his movement. The red stone of Asia amplifies a Haman user 100-fold. The power of Nabu, the helmet of fate, a power steeped in thousands of years of mastery. Do you really think you can overcome me, Kaz? I am perfection. You're already on death's door. There's no escape for you. That's where you're wrong, Nabu said as the helmet flew off of JoJo and landed on Kars. Nabu, what are you? I told you, JoJo, this would come to an end, and I will be the one to end it. What? What are you talking about? With the red stone of Asia, my spirit can overcome Kars. I can hold him in place, and I know where to take him. A bubble of light would form around JoJo. On his chest, the insignia of Dr. Fate would burn onto him. The power will protect you. This was always the last plan, if everything else failed up until now. But I like to think that we were pretty successful with what we set out to do. Nabu, what are you? Come on. I know I've talked a lot of crap about you, but we can beat him together. We can... When I was a mortal, I was an arrogant fool, JoJo. I believed only in myself and in my own strength. I fought against the Pillar Men, but in the end, my power was not enough. I bound my Haman and my soul to the helmet of fate, a power that was passed down from Haman user to Haman user. In the end, I did not see them as allies. I saw them as nothing more but tools in the war against the Pillar Men. I didn't care about those who died and perished in my service. I moved on to the next one, and I didn't even try to remember their names. I met Jonathan, and I thought that in the end he would be nothing more but a tool for me. But he proved to be more. And so did your mother, and even you. There is truly a greater power to Haman, greater than you realize. So much more in this world. So much that I can't show you. What is this? Naboo! I told you, Kars. Today, this war would end. Slowly, the cocoon of light would begin to drift into space, its direction towards the sun. He must be destroyed. Completely, utterly. Only the sun can do that. Let me go, Kars would say. Stop this madness. Naboo, you'll kill yourself in the process. You can't. It is time for this to be finished. No! 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 I am perfection! Kars would try to break away from the bonds, only to be frozen immediately in the cold depths of space as they went hurling faster and faster. No! You can't do this to me! No! No! I can't! No! If I die, he will be waiting for you. Yes. We must all face our judgment to answer for our sins. You and I together at the doors of death. You can't do this to me! No! I am perfection! I'm greater than any god! You can't! You can't! Naboo. Goodbye, JoJo. My spirit will live on in you. I do not know how, I do not know when, but I believe someday we will be reunited. For this, I have faith. Goodbye, JoJo. 1 month later, in New York, a small funeral was being held for Joseph Joestar. Among those in attendance, Irina Joestar, Messina, Lisa, Smokey Brown, Caesar Zappelli, Diana of Timskara, Robert E.O. Speedwagon. Smokey stood before the grave, still feeling some of the searing pain from his new mechanical limbs. Caesar clasping his hand on his friend's shoulder. I didn't really know him for that long. And in that short period of time, I got dragged into all this madness. And yet, I don't regret any of it. I just didn't think it'd end up like this. As the funeral proceeded, someone would appear. A big, tall individual, clasping hands on everyone's shoulders. He knew that there was a funeral, but he wondered who could it have been to make everyone so upset. Well, I get back into town and no one's there to pick me up from the airport. I knew you guys were attending a funeral, but who died? JoJo? JoJo? JoJo, Lisa would say. Joseph! Huh? How are you? What? What's everyone so surprised about? JoJo! How are you? You're supposed to be... Huh? I know I don't look it, but why does that tombstone have my name on it? What the hell? This is my funeral? I'm not dead! What? Now, JoJo, you need to calm yourself. Susie Q? What's that on her hand? Is that a wedding ring? Yeah, me and Susie Q got married. Oh, now I'm Mrs. Joseph Joestar. You're going to make me blush. Yeah, but more importantly, why do you all think I'm dead? I'm sure I sent a message. Susie Q? Yes, Joseph? We need to go over something real quick. Come here. So, let's make sure I got all my facts straight. I crashed from the sky in a ball of light, yes. Got picked up by a fishing boat. Yes, that's all adding up. I went back to Italy, recovered with you for about 2 weeks. Yes, then we got married. Then I got my new left arm. And you should have, the telegram. What about the telegram, dear? Yes, the telegram. You didn't send the telegram, did you? No, I didn't. Now, there's no need to get with the clicky fingers. Susie Q! I'm sorry, JoJo! He's alive. Yes, Caesar said. Truly a miracle. From that day forth, the threat of the Pillarmen had been brought to a close. And this chapter in the Joestar family had come to an end. Granny Irina would continue to serve as a teacher and a champion of humanitarian deeds. She died peacefully at the age of 81, surrounded by her family. Lisa would later move to the United States, where she would remarry with a Hollywood star. Robert E.O. Speedwagon lived his life as a bachelor, but in his years he did good for the scientific community and as a humanitarian. He died in 1952 at the age of 59 from a heart attack. Smokey Brown inherited the title of Sandman and would actually serve in a few missions and tours across the world as the masked hero. But in his retirement, he would settle back down in his hometown in Georgia, where he would become the first black mayor of his state. Stroheim would die at the Battle of Stalingrad in 1949. Caesar Zappelli, after the war, would return to Italy. After the death of Speedwagon, both he and JoJo would continue to run the Speedwagon Foundation, and he would continue to carry on the title of Captain Midnight. And for JoJo and Susie Q, the Joestar family would continue, living on, their future bright, and another day on the horizon. Years later, a fishing boat out at sea in the Atlantic Ocean would snag something in their nets. As they began to pull, what they appeared to see as a treasure chest, something much larger. It appeared to be the size of a coffin, something that had been buried away for almost 100 years. For its embroidery and for its craftsmen, there was only 3 letters: D-I-O. Landing off of a plane in Japan. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you now. Hey, you're Japanese, aren't you? Yeah, what of it? Take this! Oh, my leg! Man, damn! Oh! Because of you, I never get to see my grandchild anymore! You stole the heart of my daughter, and you brought her to your country! That's why I'll never forgive the Japanese! But still, the technology's pretty good. Can't complain about that. Now, to see what all the fuss is about. Avdol, are you coming? Yes, Mr. Joestar. So, this is the country of Japan. Intriguing. I've been to better places. You should check out them scar. It truly is a sight for sore eyes. The Isle of Women, a dangerous place. Yeah, I've never heard about it. And I'm surprised you haven't called the princess to aid you in this endeavor. She's dealing with some other business right now. Something about the god Ares causing trouble somewhere somewhat. I'm going to leave her to it. Besides, this is nothing we can't handle. It's family business. Joestar business. Still, I'll believe it when I see it. I can't believe that he has returned. It was bound to happen sooner or later. This isn't my first time fighting a war against monsters. I have a knack for it. And regardless, if he truly wants to come out of his coffin, that's fine by me. It's time for me to finish what my grandfather started all those years ago. The bastard who destroyed my family in the first place. I'll make sure I kill him properly this time. This concludes JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Battle of Fate. What if Joseph Joestar was Dr. Fate? Part 13, the finale of Part 2. As always, when we get to the end of a series in a portion, I always want to take the time to say thank you. I know that this series hasn't been the most popular on the channel, but still, it's had a strong following, and for everyone who's been enjoying this part, or for everyone who will come back to enjoying this part, I just want to take the time to say thank you, because like I always say, I can't do it without you. You make the channel grow, you make the core grow. And we come to the end of the first story in Tales of Earth 2. But the story of Dr. Fate does not end here. No. Before long, we'll stop on the next leg of our journey. The next Joestar, who inherits the power through the most unlikeliest of circumstances, as a foe from the past resurfaces to cause trouble for the Joestar family. A rivalry 100 years in the making, now renewed. But until then, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.